Hey there, educator extraordinaire. Lace up your roller skates and get ready for another smooth Teacher Summer Talks ride. And don't forget to keep working on your sticker challenge. It's like earning a prize ticket at the arcade.
Hello and welcome to the Teacher Summer Talk. I'm Jocelyn Hubbard. My pronouns are she, her. I am the founder and lead consultant for Custom Teaching Solutions and host of the Culture Centered Classroom podcast. Over the last 18 years or so that I've been in education, I've held a number of different roles, from teaching 7th and 8th grade language arts and social studies to facilitating PD and supporting teachers as a literacy consultant for two different large publishing houses. Currently, I support teachers across the country with workshops and coaching as they discover high leverage practices to create learning spaces where students feel a sense of belonging, where they can authentically contribute, and where they are ultimately excited to learn because their unique genius, joy, talents, and interests are considered in the learning space. I am absolutely thrilled that you have chosen to spend this time and this space with me today. During our time together, I want to offer you a powerful yet incredibly simple way to ensure that your intentions match your impact. A way for you to feel truly ready and confident for those new faces walking through your doors at the beginning of the school year, but also, let's be real, throughout the school year. And let me tell you, this is not about adding another giant item to your already overcrowded to do list. Instead, it's about a quick, intentional shift in how we look at our preparations, a way to work smarter, not harder, leading to a more connected, truly equitable, and ultimately a much calmer classroom for every single student. So, what does this shift actually entail? It is, again, about intentionality and intentionally auditing your teaching practices and the learning space through an equity lens. As we are considering back to school in particular and our students' well being in general, understanding what it means to audit your teaching practices in the learning space through an equity lens is really important because we know that every child that walks into our classroom has a unique story. They've got a unique background, they've got unique needs. An equitable classroom isn't just a nice idea, it's the foundation upon which all learning thrives. When a student feels truly seen, valued, and understood, they are better able to learn, to take risks, and to connect with their peers and with you. Applying an equity lens now, before the school year even kicks off, is about being proactive. It's like gently smoothing out potential bumps in the road before anyone trips. It helps you to prevent misunderstandings, it helps you to build connections faster, and ultimately reduces stress for you and for your students. It helps to avoid accidentally marginalizing or overlooking students, ensuring that from day one, every child knows deep down, not just by the words that you say, but by your actions, by the way that you show up, that they truly belong in that classroom. We are going to focus on two key areas where you can apply this simple lens. Before we do that, I want to define equity. Let me first differentiate equity from equality, because historically in education, there has been a focus on equality in the classroom. Equality is literally defined as giving each person the same resources and opportunities, whereas equity, in a nutshell, is about recognizing the unique talents and circumstances of people and providing resources and opportunities to meet those needs. While the equality conversation is very important, it's incomplete. I want you to consider what I mentioned earlier about your intentions being in alignment with your impact. If we're providing the same resources and opportunities for every single student without considering all the pieces and the experiences that make them who they are as a learner, we are watering down the effectiveness and the impact of these different resources and opportunities. Think about it this way. How many times have you walked into a professional development session and immediately you can tell that your subject area, your grade level, your expertise as an educator have not been considered. And so, what are you going to be doing for the next 90 minutes? How engaged are you going to be in that environment? Now, of course, you can always choose to be more involved and engaged, but it's not going to be the most effective use of your time. Let me share another definition with you from Western Governors University. In an article, they state that equity involves establishing a level playing field across the classroom, taking student opportunities and infusing them with support and resources personalized to each student. This means that disadvantaged and non disadvantaged students experience the same quality of education, even though they may experience different learning needs. Equity aims to lift disadvantaged students and ensure that they are presented with the same options as others, making up the differences for these disadvantaged students. Now, I do want to be very clear that when we think about the word disadvantaged, we want to consider the first words that come to our minds. When you think about a disadvantaged student, what do they look like? What do they sound like? Where do they live? And then flip all that on its head, because from my own experiences, disadvantage can be a part of every student's story. And so we want to be careful that we are not using a particular definition or that we are not falling into a stereotype when we hear that word disadvantaged. Let's jump into tip number one. Audit your classroom environment. Think about the physical space that you're creating, the walls, the books, furniture. As you envision your classroom setup, take a moment and look at it through an equity lens. Ask yourself, are there visual elements, organizational structures, or routines might unintentionally privilege some students while marginalizing others? Let's break this down with some concrete examples, okay? So look at your bookshelves and your reading nooks. When students glance at your classroom library, do they see characters and stories that authentically reflect a wide range of cultures, family structures, abilities, genders, and experiences? Are the authors diverse? Or do they mostly see one dominant narrative repeated across many books? Remember Dr. Rudine Sims Bishop and her idea of mirrors, windows, and sliding glass doors. Are you offering enough mirrors for all your students to see themselves? Are there enough windows into worlds different from their own? Let's also consider your wall displays and decor. Are there posters, alphabet charts, or student work examples that predominantly feature one type of person? Or do they celebrate the beautiful diversity of your students, your school and community, and the wider world? Think about skin tones on different charts. Think about the types of families that are depicted or the languages represented. Even the labels on your bins, are they clear and accessible to everyone, including your multilingual learners? Think about the physical arrangement of your classroom. What does the layout tell the student about their belonging in that space? Is it easy for a student who may have different mobility needs to navigate? Are there flexible seating options that might accommodate different sensory needs or learning styles? Does the setup naturally foster collaboration and positive interaction among diverse groups of students? Or does it inadvertently create cliques or isolate some learners? And finally, the implicit messages. Beyond the obvious, what subtle messages does your classroom send? Does it communicate that certain forms of learning, communication, or family structures are more, quote, normal or valued than others? For instance, do your examples always feature a nuclear family? Or do they subtly hint that quiet, independent work is always preferred over collaborative discussion? Does your space invite all students to touch, explore, and feel ownership? Or does it unintentionally suggest a rigid, one-size-fits-all approach? This isn't about perfection right now. It's about awareness and small shifts. What's one tiny adjustment you could consider now before the school year even begins to make the physical space feel even more welcoming, representative, and safe for all your learners? Maybe it's rotating in some new culturally diverse books or thinking about multiple ways to consider family when you say, oh, bring in a photo for the family display. or simply making clear pathways in your classroom. Even a tiny shift in your physical space can send a powerful signal of belonging from day one. Now, our second tip is to audit your initial interactions. This applies to your first moments with your new students and their families. Those first few days and weeks are so foundational for building trust and setting the tone for the entire year. What assumptions might you be bringing to the table about your new students and their families and their community? Perhaps based on their names, previous grades, or quick glances at records? We all carry unconscious biases. We do. Let me raise my hand and say I do. It's a natural part of being human. Recognizing this is the first step in mitigating the impact, however. Now ask yourself, how can I proactively plan to learn about and genuinely honor the diverse backgrounds, experiences, and needs of each student and their family right from the start? This is about intentionality. That's my favorite word for today. Intentionality in building authentic relationships. Your welcome and introductions. Let's go beyond just saying hello. How will you introduce yourself in a way that signals warmth, respect, and openness to all cultures and family structures? Will your initial communications with families offer multiple ways to connect? Are you sending welcome letters, emails, text messages? What other platforms does your school provide? And are you communicating in multiple languages? Can you learn to pronounce every student's name correctly from day one and proactively ask for help if you are unsure, not just giving them a nickname because that's what's easiest for you? Think about your first questions and the first activities that you lead in the classroom. When you ask students about themselves, go beyond just what's your favorite color? No, what are some thoughtful, open ended questions that you can ask that will allow them to share about their home life, about their cultural identity, about their unique strengths, their prior experiences, and even their preferred way of learning? Can you design an activity that invites students to share something meaningful about themselves or their family, their community, their hopes, and their dreams, ensuring that all backgrounds are valued and celebrated? I encourage the teachers I support to have students complete the hello or culture hand. In the United States, a typical form of greeting is extending someone's hand and shaking the other person's hand. With this greeting, you are sharing pieces of your identity. Some of these are assumed based on what people can see. Others will be shared during the conversation that you're going to have afterwards and as trust is developed. In the classroom, you can have each student trace their hand. In the center of the hand, they can write their name. On each finger, have them list features or personality traits that people may determine upon seeing them. On the back side of each finger, have students write information that people wouldn't know, but is also very important. So, for instance, I might list that I am Black and a woman on the front, and on the back, I might list that I am a mother of five and a singer. You can also make this subject area specific by having students write mathematician in the center or scientist along with their name. On the front side, they can list just words that come to mind when they think of a scientist. And then on the back side, think of words that describe them as a scientist. You can put this up in your classroom, make a big old tree with all the hands as leaves. Also, think about caregiver communication. How will you initiate contact with families that is culturally responsive and truly welcoming? Are communication methods accessible to all caregivers? Are we translating different messages? Are there a variety of communication platforms? Are we offering a variety of flexible meeting times? How will you invite families and communities into this conversation about the best ways to engage in communicating with them? These first interactions are crucial for establishing psychological safety. When students feel understood and valued for who they are more likely to take academic risks, to participate openly, and to develop a strong sense of agency in their learning. As you prepare for the exciting new school year, remember these two simple but powerful equity audit lenses. One is for your classroom environment, and the other is for your initial interactions. This isn't about adding a massive overhaul to your summer. It's about being intentional. It's about taking those few extra moments to view your preparations through the lens of every child that you are about to meet, especially those who might feel unseen or unheard. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be proactive and thoughtful. Choosing one small thing from each area to reflect on and adjust. You're not just organizing your room or planning your first day. You are building a foundation of belonging and safety. To help you be strategic about auditing the learning space, I created a free equity check-in tool just for you. Go to customteachingsolutions.com/check-in summer. Thank you again for joining me in this Teacher Summer Talk. Don't forget to grab your free equity check-in by going to customteachingsolutions.com/check-in summer. Remember to seek joy, affirm culture, celebrate diversity, prioritize equity, and strive for liberation through learning every single day. You've got this.
That was more useful than a week of after-school specials. If you're vibing with the summit, don't miss your chance to apply for the Back to School Success Scholarship. Only 3 winners, announced June 26th. You'll find the form in the show notes, your inbox, and the Facebook group. Bookmark it like the 90s TV guide.